Hello everybody and welcome to day 2 of 31 days of Halloween.
29 more days?
29 more days.
Well, technically 28 because we had a mishap last night with our recording system. So we're redoing it.
The live stream wasn't working. So, and we also apologize for day 1 and the buzzing sound. We had this on top of a piece of glass.
Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but this is an older computer. I do need to probably get a newer one soon. It's buzzing right now as well, so we'll see how it goes.
But in conjunction, we are doing an episode for day 28 that we have actually been promising
29.
on 29 on promising on the podcast. By the way, our podcast is Splattercast on Podbean. Every week, 2 episodes that we've been promising for a little bit, and we haven't been able to do it because we've been trying to shoehorn other stuff in, or other stuff has come up that we felt were more urgent of talking about. So, but this is actually one of my favorites, and ironically has become one of CJ's.
Yes, I didn't watch it. A lot of the stuff that's your favorites I didn't get to watch until I was with you.
Yep, there is a slight age gap between us. So I was born in 85, she was born in 91. So that's almost a different era of horror to grow up in when you're older. So, and this is, so I should probably say what we're reviewing. We're reviewing the almighty Killer Klowns from Outer Space from the 1980s.
Yes.
And this movie always lights me up. I love this movie so much, which is weird because it scared me when I was a kid.
What clown scared you as a kid? So
I think I saw this one right after Poltergeist, and that's probably why. My sister had me watch this movie when I was a kid, so I was probably like 5, 6 years old. Which I went from watching this to watching it. So I think within the span of like a month, I watched the original Poltergeist, I watched Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and then I watched it, and that affirmed my fear of clowns when I was a kid. So this movie is very good, and first things I would say before we go into the plot of it is I love the effects in the movie. What do you think?
they were good.
Well, I mean, like the way the clowns look.
That's not a special effects, like the actual like outfit and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like,
I like it. It does. I don't know. Some of the effects itself are kind of corny-esque.
yeah,
But it's made to be that way.
it's literally a spoof of the Blob.
But I don't know. But I mean, like them disappearing into confetti, to the gun like having like rainbow shoot out while they're getting all cotton candy-fied, and like some of it's just
I like a lot
cartoon-esque.
I like a lot of the nuances in there. And later on, I found out that Chiodo Brothers, who designed all the clowns, also designed Gilman from Monster Squad.
Okay.
And the critters, the Kranks. I like the Kranks.
Yeah, but like the special effects parts, I mean, they're dated.
They are
very dated, and the movie's dated. It makes you go back in time almost. I feel like you're a little kid again because of the ice cream trucks. I mean, I know around here maybe once in the blue moon we'll get an ice cream truck, but most of the time they're non-existent now.
Yeah, it's kind of a time capsule movie, and there's a lot of classic scenes that are in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
To me, anyways, there's a lot of scenes that have always stood out. Everything from they're going to sniff the trail and they have the balloon animal that they make that's like a
Yeah.
hunting dog, to mostly everybody's favorite scene that's in this movie is JoJo. JoJo's like the little baby clown, and he rides up on a little tricycle, tricycle motorbike.
I like motorboat better.
Motorbike to a bunch of gang members, and one of the gang guys asks if he can ride his bike, and JoJo says, "Mm-mm," just like how CJ would say it.
Mm-mm.
And he crushes his bike, and there's even little squeaking noises when it gets crushed.
Yeah.
Like a clown car. And then JoJo asks him to put up his dukes, and he has boxing gloves on, and he punches his head clean off, and it flies into like a garbage can.
Because, like you said, he was going to knock his block off.
Yeah.
And it turned out that JoJo knocked his head off.
Which I think is a classic.
The other one is the puppet show.
Yeah, the
shadow puppet show. Yeah, like the whole, I don't even know what that clown's called.
He's like the really tall, lanky one that has like red hair. So he's like the leader of the clowns.
Yeah, and he's doing this puppet show, and I mean, it's amazing.
Especially the one where he does the Spirit of 76.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing puppet show. And there's a whole bunch of people, I think, like at a bus stop or something, waiting.
They're all at a bus stop waiting.
And, like, they're clapping because, I mean, he's doing crazy hand puppets on the wall. And, like, so everybody's all happy, and then the puppets turn into this dinosaur-esque looking
almost like
creature.
a T-Rex.
Yeah, and, like, eats them. So that was crazy.
And then puts it into, like, Felix the Cat magic bag.
Yeah, like they eats them and like turns them into small little miniature people.
Yep. And
then drops them into like a little bag. Creepy.
I always thought that scene was really cool. And there's also the puppet show in the park, where there's these two little puppets, and it looks they're having like a lover's quarrel, and this dude with one of the worst freaking, I don't know, mullet or whatever the hell that haircut was supposed to be, is laughing at him. So the same clown that does the puppet show comes out with like this ray gun.
Shadow puppets. I don't know, that sounds weird, but it's like the shadow.
Yeah, he does shadow puppets, and then he has like marionette puppets.
Yeah.
He shoots him and he turns him into cotton candy.
Yeah, and it's like a ray, like, I don't know, it's like...
It looks like a 1950s ray gun.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, it has like a little ball at the end, and it has all these wispy stuff. It looks very, alien-esque. So, and then the other one, they do a lot of puppets. Because the other one that really stood out to me is towards the end, when, the one cop doesn't believe anybody, thinks everybody is basically screwing with him, trying to get him to quit.
Vernon.
Yeah, and the clown comes in, probably the same one.
No, this is it's the fat one that tries to kill the little girl at the fast food place. Okay,
so it's the big one, and he turns the cop into a puppet, like, I don't know, like shoves his hand in the back. And, like, the dude's dead, but, like, it's like one of those, what are those called? The dummy...
Ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah, and, like, the clown is actually talking through the guy. It's very creepy, and, like, the clown painted the guy's face as a doll.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But, again, like I said, like, some of the stuff, like, they have, like, footprints from the clown inside the jail, and they look like big, huge bowling pins.
Yeah.
Like it's a kidsy, cutesy thing.
And the one of the interesting things about this is, if you watch it, the opening scene is almost shot for shot of the 1958 Blob, because a shooting star goes across, lands in the middle of the woods, and then an old guy who I don't know the actor, but he's in tons of movies.
Yeah.
And he's such a good actor. And they go into the woods because he thinks he's going to be famous, and there's a circus tent.
Yep.
And they make a Circus Olay joke, but I didn't know about that because that wasn't a big deal until like a decade later about the Circus Olay.
He was looking for his Pooh Bear.
And they literally like they put like this weird little Looney Tunes net over the top of the dog, and all you hear is the dog make a little howl off in the distance, and he keeps yelling that if they don't give him back his Pooh Bear, he will tear this thing apart with his bare hands.
Oh yeah, he was not having it.
And that was really cool. And also, I love the cameo that's in there. It's in the very, very beginning. It's a very young Christopher Titus, and he's in there for like 30 seconds. You get to see him walking past the Goodwill, and I always love that cameo. It's just random.
Because he works for Goodwill.
I do work for Goodwill.
That's why. You were so proud to show me that. You're like, look, there's a
I've
Goodwill.
never seen a Goodwill in any movie, ever. But the other really cool thing about this is there's not... The people that are acting in a campy way, like in a overacting way, are meant to act that way. But everybody does a good acting performance. Even the main lead in there, the female, the male, the ex-boyfriend cop, the Terenzi brothers, which are... These two guys that are in there are fucking funnier than shit. They drive around in an ice cream truck that has a clown on the top, and they try and coerce these two bigger girls to ride around with them, and they'll give them all the ice cream they want. The cliche of the time.
Oh yeah.
Which is the cool thing is the ice cream truck actually plays into the movie later on. And the way that the clowns are born, popcorn.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
Because
it did.
Because they shoot popcorn at them as they're leaving, and when she goes to take a shower and she throws her shirt and her sweater in like those old school laundry hampers that I used
to have one too.
They're the ones that have like the lid on the top and they're made out of wicker.
I had a pink one.
We had one that just looked just like that. And all of a sudden, like these little, because the first time you watch it, you're like, why are the clowns like sprinkling popcorn, garbage cans, and all over the place? It's because
they're making more.
They're spreading their clown army, and
the clown apocalypse.
So it actually shows them like when they're like baby clowns, they're like
they're
this long
freaky
neck thing with like the heads have like mohawks.
Yeah. Freaky.
And it's actually kind of... There's only one scene in the movie that's really, really creepy. And it's...
Yeah.
There's this little girl at a fast food place for her parents, and there's a clown outside. He's like the only heavyset clown. And he has a big, giant sledgehammer behind... sledgehammer clown version behind his back.
Kind of like a Harley Quinn one?
Yeah,
you know, like the big Harley Quinn... old school. The
old school Harley Quinn hammer.
Yeah.
And he's trying to coerce her, and he's just going like this. So like he's a pedophile. And it's really creepy because the kid almost gets out there, and then her mom grabs, and then he has this gnarly, angry growl that he does.
Yeah, that's creepy. Like, I could, especially at the time when it was going on, because there wasn't that during the,
It was during
Gacy?
this time when Gacy came out around, the actual serial killer came to fruition around this time, which was...
They probably didn't think of it.
They didn't think of it when they released it, but this one...
He came out right after,
He came out right after this, and it was just bad timing, which is another reason why this movie actually flopped.
And it's just funny. I mean, it's not a horror-esque where you're scared all the time. It's a really funny movie.
They even have Clown Kong. That is the name of him in the credits. He is a
beast.
It's a big, giant... Well, it's supposed to be giant. So, anytime you see lots of clowns in here, they're actually puppets. Either puppets or they're people in big rubber suits. Which is cool, because the whole movie's a practical effects and stuff that doesn't look practical is a matte painting, which all a matte painting is something you draw, and then you just flash lights against it, and it's actually a cool effect that people don't do anymore. And the really cool thing is the ending, because they think so the only way to kill clowns in this movie is you gotta bop their nose with anything sharp.
You have to pop it.
You gotta
like
pop
a balloon. And then they do this weird, like, tornado spinny thing, and then when they poof,
like a
there's
dreidel.
like a candy. Or not candy, it's like confetti that pops out everywhere. It's very weird.
And the way that they have substance is they turn all the people in town into cotton candy balloons, and they stick silly straws in there.
And they, like, suck them dry.
They drink the blood out of them.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, I think they might have want to keep the girl hostage because she's the only one that doesn't get turned into a cotton candy balloon.
Yeah, she gets put into, like, a big ball.
A bouncy ball.
Yeah, a big bouncy ball. And it's clear. Oh, well, it's not clear, but, I mean, it's see-through so you could see it.
And also, the Terenzi brothers end up sleeping with the only two female clowns in the movie. They have sex with them in a ball pit. They insinuate, because when they come up, they have lipstick all over their neck and their collar and on their face, and their clothes are torn, and they all have, like, orgasmic-looking faces.
Oh, I never picked that up.
Yeah, they're in a ball pit. So at the very end, all the heroes are standing outside after the carnival, like, the little circus tent goes up and shoots into the air, and they all like, oh, is it over? And then they all get hit with pies in the face. And that to me is funny. And then it plays the song. And the song is actually really catchy. I've always liked the song.
Well, really?
Yeah.
They get hit with pies?
They get hit with whipped cream pies in the face at the very end as a joke. Like that.
I'm confused now,
like that.
Because didn't it earlier in the movie when they were hitting people in the face with pies, it was like acid or something?
Yes, they were acid pies, but they don't get hit with them. It's kind of like, you may have beaten us, but we'll be back.
Okay. I was like, I didn't pick that up. Okay.
They always planned on Killer Klowns from Outer Space having a sequel.
Never did, though.
It's actually in development right now.
Maybe we'll get it. I don't know, maybe.
It's been 30 years. Actually, it's been 32 now. The anniversary is like 2 years ago. But to me, it's just a great movie, and I really wanted to talk about it because we have Killer Klowns from Outer Space merchandise.
Yes, and you actually got to meet the lead actress.
Yep.
From the movie. Well, we did, but you got stuff signed by her.
And she even signed the official Killer Klowns from Outer Space poster from.
There was 2 of them, right? That signed it, or just one?
There's one that signed it because she was in another horror film.
Okay. Well, there was one where they signed 2. Well, anyway. Yeah.
So we even have trading cards. We have Killer Klowns from Outer Space trading cards. And what happens every time I find a different cover for the DVD or Blu-rays? What do?
He has to buy it.
I do have to buy it. I love them all.
But what did she write? It was like, why is it popcorn or something?
Popcorn, why is it popcorn?
Yeah.
Because that's one of her lines in the movie. And that's actually, she asked me what to write, and I said for her to write that.
Yes.
I love that line in the movie. So, we're going to be following a theme on this episode and the next of stuff we really, really like, because the next episode is also one we truly like.
Certain ones.
So we are going to...
Certain ones for me. He likes them all.
Yeah, for me. So, we will see you for day number 28 next time.
Yes, and you guys, if you haven't watched it, you really need to go and watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
It is
a very, what? It's free on what?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime, and it is a corny, scary Halloween movie type-esque.
It's one you could almost watch with your kids by nowadays standards.
I mean, there's no blood.
There's no blood, there's no cursing. If you want a funny, no pun intended, popcorn movie.
Haha. It is a really good movie to watch with your family.
You can just watch it, and it's really
My mother, she watched it when I was young, and I was asleep or something, and she watched it, and she had a blast watching it. She told me all about it, and I thought she was high.
I had my niece watch it when she was like 7.
I never knew that it even existed, and she was like, no, like, these clowns came from outer space, and oh my god, it was such a funny movie. We gotta find it again. And I'm like, Mom, it's crazy. But really, it is a funny movie. My mom doesn't do scary movies, so even the fact that she watched something that is in the horror-esque films.
And a good way to really push through that this is funny, the movie that the Chiodo brothers did right after this one is Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
so they're really good at comedy.
Yeah, it is, and like it's the clown apocalypse of these weird-looking clowns, and the way that they get killed is by bopping them on the nose. Like, it's just hilarious. So you guys should really watch it.
And we will see you on the next one.
Yeah.
For day 28.